Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dears. We will be discussing in this video the character analysis of the play Arms and the Men written by George Bernard Shaw. So let's start. The first major character in this play is obviously Raina Petkov. Raina is one of Shaw's most delightful heroines from his early plays. In the opening scenes of the play, she is presented as being a romantically idealistic person in love with the noble ideal of war and love. Yet she is also aware that she is playing a game, that she is the one who enjoys making dramatic entrances. Her mother is aware that Raina listens at doors in order to know when to make an effective entrance. And she is very idealistic in her views on love and war. When you watch the play and you see whenever Raina strikes a pose, she is fully aware on the fact that her own youth and beauty are part of it. When she accuses Blanchley of being incapable of gratitude and incapable of any noble sentimentals, she is also amused, and she is later delighted that he sees through her noble attitude and her pretensions. And her pretension was what she was presenting. Her real self was something else, and Blanchley was the one who was able to see her real self. In fact, her attraction for Blanchley is partly due to the fact that she can step down off the pedestal which she must be upon, metaphorically, whenever she is in Sergius' presence. Now, this is very important. She used to present herself to act out a very difficult role for Sergius, and when she meets Blanchley, she comes to know about her real self, and now she is liberated from that role and she is more true to herself. She shocks her mother when she says that she would like to shock Sergius' propriety since he is such a stuffed shirt. Yet at first she is filled with undefined ideals. She admires Sergius' victories, but she is also genuinely troubled by the reports of the suffering and slaughters that accompany the war. She does respond immediately to the plight of the Serbian soldier, Captain Blanchley. So a very interesting character this is. On one side she admires Sergius' victories, but on the other side she also feels for the suffering and slaughters in the war. She feels for Captain Blanchley and she also admires Sergius' victory. And when there is a possibility of an actual slaughter taking place in her room, the Swiss soldier about to be killed by the Bulgarian army, she decides to hide him and help him escape. When Blanchley ridicules Sergius' charge, she pretends to be offended, but she is secretly glad that her intended is not perfect. Then we have a very wise character in the play, Captain Blanchley. Captain Blanchley is a 34 years old realist who sees through the absurd romanticism of war. Furthermore, unlike the aristocratic volunteers who are untrained, amateurish idealists, Captain Blanchley is a professional soldier. These methods allow Sergius to refer to his ability to win a war as being low-class commercialism, devoid of any honor and nobility. Blanchley would agree with this appraisal since he sees nothing romantic about the violent and senseless slaughter of human beings, even though it is his profession. Being a professional soldier, he adopts a practical and wise view. His name is a combination of blunt plus the ending, which is Swiss, means sweet, and endearing or lovable. Given the choice of being killed or saving his life by climbing up a balcony and into a lady's bedroom, he chooses unheroically not to be killed. Practically, he knows that a dead professional soldier is of no value to anyone. Thus, he saves his life by the most expedient method available. He hides in a lady's bedroom. Likewise, given the choice of killing someone or of not going hungry, he chooses to eat rather to kill. Thus he carries chocolate rather than ammunition, a highly unromantic but very practical thing to do. Then we have Sergius. Sergius is the epitome of what every romantic hero should be. He is dashing, swashbuckling, devastatingly handsome, idealistic, wealthy, aristocratic, brave, and the acclaimed hero of the recent crushing victory in the recently cavalry raid which is led by Sergius. He is possessed of only the loftiest and most noble ideals concerning war, romance, and chivalry, and he represents the quintessence of what a noble Bulgarian aristocratic should be. He possesses all these idealistic virtues and idealistic traits in his personality. Yet Sergius is more than this. He is an aristocrat, but he is a Byronic type who has certain ideals, and he is likely to become thoroughly disillusioned when these ideals fail. For example, Sergius did go to war filled with high ideals, and he did lead a heroic and courageous attack. Later, however, he discovered that wars are not conducted by bravery and courage. They are more often waged in one battle by efficient and practical planning than they are won by glorious and chivalric deeds. For Sergius, then, war is only fit for the sons of hotel keepers, who have something of the tradesman about them. For that reason, Sergius has resigned from the army in complete disillusionment. After having become cynical about soldiering, Sergius becomes skeptical about his relationship with Raina. After all, as he tells Lauka, it is rather tiresome having to live up to Raina's ideal of the higher love. And he himself says that it is very troublesome for him to remain the ideal hero, to act like ideal hero for Raina. It was he, however, who placed Raina on a pedestal so high, in fact, that he was blinded to any possible faults she might have. When Lauka reveals all of Raina's faults, Raina lies, she pretends, and she has entertained another man in her bedroom. Sergius then feels free to cast his affections where they normally lead him, into marriage with the attractive Lauka. So, this is how change takes place in the character of Sergius. Lauka, another important character in this play, Lauka is an opinionated, beautiful, young servant working for the Petkovs. She is expected to settle down with and marry Nicola, the family head servant. However, she rejects the idea that her being born into a poor family means she must live as a servant to the rich her whole life. No, she rejects this idea. At first, she rejects Sergius' advances, believing he is simply using her because he thinks she is beneath him. When she realizes Sergius disdains his own wealth and nobility, she admits she has fallen for him. And thus, in the end, she marries Sergius, the rich person. So, in a way, she is a very clever character in this play.